my reasons for being involved in the garden have evolved over the year and a half too, and a big one now is a very strong interest in trying to reduce food miles and how far plants actually, or how far products actually travel to get to us, as well as the sort of the packaging and the storage, the refrigeration. These plants don't have any refrigeration component in them between here and the shop, at least in the cooler season. And that means like masses of energy and materials go into just the refrigeration component of the value chain. So, I mean, part of my interest is not just the biodynamic, but also getting fresh produce as close as possible to a sort of a buyer group.
There was a teacher here who's since left, Christopher Brocklebank, he had the idea really to start the garden. He originally thought that it would be good to have a place where children who'd left the primary school and had gone on to high school would perhaps have a place to come to do some paid work as an alternative to working at somewhere like Kmart or whatever. And his son, who had left school, and him and I dug this patch over about 3 years ago. It kind of evolved into a garden where there was parents and interested people associated with the Steiner School here. And the people involved have changed over the years. I'm one that sort of stuck with it, I suppose, and you do need someone there as a sort of a solid rock to sort of keep it going.
I haven't done a lot of vegetable gardening. I've done some sort of native plant gardening in the past, but here was a chance also to learn of someone who is increasingly expert, and with being consistent here for over like every second week for the last 2 years, and then more and more putting in sort of weekend times and a few hour blocks here and there where I can, I've started to understand the complexity that sits behind the garden.
I was interested in biodynamics right from the start for years really, and so it was a great opportunity to sort of try it on a sort of larger scale than just a small home garden. So it's been biodynamics all the way through, and we've followed pretty strictly in the biodynamic way. We make biodynamic compost. So we get the preparations that are put into the compost from Bellingen with the BD Association. We also get 500, this other preparation, which is it's the cow manure which is buried in the cow horn for 6 months or so, and then dug up, and then you get this beautiful material which is rich in microorganisms which just stimulate a whole lot of really good things happening in the soil. We put that on at least twice a year here.
You've had a scientific training as a botanist. A lot of scientists are a little bit sceptical about the idea of burying manure in cow horns. What's your opinion about it?
Oh, I've got a pretty open mind to those sort of things. It's been interesting for me to follow the progression of the garden over those 3 years and to see it actually improve. And it's been really worked quite hard, this garden. It's been more or less continuous crops over the whole time, and you expect the sort of the soil fertility to be dropping over that time and seeing other sort of problems, but in fact it's improved. I mean the soil's absolutely fantastic now, and yeah, I think I just sort of put that down to a combination of things, and the BD preps have certainly, I think, been a major factor in that. And all the reading you do from what other people say, we're kind of experiencing it here too. So it's, I I'm pretty sold on it, really.
So the Saturday mornings was coming to help pick spinach and broccoli and silver beet and carrots. But that's the easy end of a production system in a way. So through the last year, and particularly the last few months, started to sort of try and understand from Dave much more the composting processes and the soil preparation that goes in prior to the garden. I haven't yet looked at propagation.
It's all done on manual. It's not, you know, tractors or rotary hoes or anything. We have the traditional sort of tools like broad fork, which is a big fork, the width of 700mm wide, the width of the bed, which you pop in the soil and so it fractures the soil and aerates it, and so every time we finish a crop in a bed, we'll broad fork it and incorporate compost.
Perhaps tell me a little bit about the preps, as you call them, which I presume is preparations.
Preparations, yeah. I mean, we don't make them here, so we get them from interstate. I think it'd be another dimension to sort of have to make those and the time involved, and it is. I mean, a lot of those are made in fairly climates which have high rainfall and more extended sort of cool periods, so it'd be probably potentially difficult to make them here. For instance, with the compost preparations, there's 6 of those. They're made from different herbs prepared in certain ways, and then they arrive. We order them and they arrive here. And when you're constructing the compost pile, they're put in at the end at different positions in the piles. And one of the preparations, valerian, comes as in a solution form, and you mix that up, stirring it up in water in this particular way, creating kind of vortexes, and then spread that over the pile. So the great thing here also is that we produce things, and generally one day a week we take things into the Afghan traders shop, which is affiliated with the school, and there's usually a big line of people waiting for the stuff to arrive, and it's got a bit of a name now, and it's all everything we take in gets sold pretty quickly. So, and that the funds raised there come back to the school, so it's a good setup in that way.
There's a lot of satisfaction in it for you.
It is, yeah.
And the people who work here.
Oh, it's great. And most people don't even take any produce home. They just like getting their hands dirty and enjoying the work.
We do need to reassess what we spend our time working on. I mean, I sit at my desk working hard all day to sort of earn money to buy food and to make rent. And I mean, just at work, there's a beautiful big Valencia orange tree, which year after year I've watched from my office drop fruit because everyone's too busy working to earn money to go and pick the oranges. I mean, that's just incongruous. And so I use my lunchtime, instead of sitting down and eating lunch and sitting down for longer, I redirect that time into going and picking oranges. So it is a reprioritisation of how I spend time. Instead of doing yoga on a Saturday morning, I do the yoga of gardening.